Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the grandest to everyone. We're gonna get right to it. Grandest sis, grandest sis, grandest. Yes. Let's get right to it, guys.
For homicide
Oh, this is
detectives,
not even
a
the
const-
right. Where this even came from? Hold on, y'all. This ain't my video. That ain't even my video. That's crazy. Mind you, I do watch that show sometimes. It's crazy. Okay, let me see. Where does it go? Okay, there it goes. It was another video. It was another video there. What else behind it? Hold on, we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna get right to it. Here, okay. Now get back over here, get it shared. This about to be a good one. Grandest to the ladies. All right, here we go.
A YT female plantation owner who was practicing voodoo, unalived three of her husbands, was cursing people, especially slave men, on her plantation, SAing them, and was taken out by a slave who was more powerful than she was.
I just got back from my trip, my vacation. As you can see, the airplane pillow was very much needed. What y'all just heard, what we about to go over in this video. Today we are talking about dark magic, specifically voodoo practices that white people have entered in, and it bit them in the ass. They left out the fact that some of these plantation owners, some of these kings and queens over there in England, all of them who were taught this by, they tried to use reverse psychology and use it for evil. And now you're gonna see the repercussions of it. Let's get into the rest of the video.
My name is Noah. I'm a Silky spiritualist, and on my page I talk about that, spiritual reparations, how to people, places, and things, and how you can fuck around and find out. If you are not following me, I encourage you to do so now. Now, the spiritual reparations that we're about to partake in are Chef's Kiss. Let's talk about the White Witch of Rose Hall, aka Annie Palmer, who still haunts this plantation.
What?
All because supposedly a careless practitioner forgot to finish her sealing ceremony. And if you don't know what a sealing ceremony is, it's whenever someone dies and they want to keep them in a certain place, they seal it off so that their spirit can't roam. Annie Palmer was born in Haiti. Her parents unfortunately passed away from yellow fever when she was about 6 years old, and a black nanny adopted her, teaching her voodoo. Now, at the time of her growing up, Haiti was.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about? Oh my God. Okay. That just you just seeing it in the story time. If I have any
The black nanny
white
adopted the
people who
little
are
white
watching
orphan.
me, listen, I'm not talking about, the ones who are doing positive things, but it's like, it's not just white people who are turning, things that they learn into bad things, but I'm saying at that time where all of the hatred that was happening in that frequency, they were using it to make it even worse. They were using it to keep melanated people enslaved and their souls being stuck at these plantations. This voodoo nanny taught her all of this information that she's about to use to do all of this messed up stuff to these people. Oh Lord.
Where they was whipping asses. Okay. And this made it very dangerous for young Annie to be around because they were taking no prisoners when it came to the Haitian Revolutionary War. So eventually she moved over to Jamaica, where at 18 she met John Palmer, who was a plantation owner, and married him. But Annie wasn't cut out for the married life. She was a floozy, and she couldn't keep her hands off of her husband's slaves, if you catch my drift.
Oh.
She would regularly essay these enslaved men until one day her husband caught her in the act. Now it is said that John Palmer was an abusive man and used to like to play Rocky Balboa, and Annie Palmer was tired of it. So she started practicing voodoo on him. John eventually passed away under suspicious circumstances leaving Annie the only living heiress of his fortune. And this is where the cruelty,
She took that money.
essaying, and voodoo turned it up a notch because now she had no one to answer to.
She took that money.
She was absolutely cruel to her slaves. Not only was she essaying the men, she was very abusive to the women, doing all kind of massa-ish activities to them. Annie eventually remarried twice, and both of her husbands suspiciously unalived. And even though she was never charged for any of her husband's death, they all knew what was going on, and they suspect poisoning and voodoo was involved. Annie took many slaves as her lover, but she had one slave in particular that she grown to really love. His name was Taku. Taku seemed to be loyal to Annie, visited her bedroom every night, and did everything that she asked for the most part. Taku was playing his position and acting strategically. So much so that Annie freed him. He was technically a free man of color. He was also a very powerful voodoo practitioner himself.
Ooh.
And whenever you are of African descent,
Plot
it
twist.
doesn't matter what someone who is does because it's in our blood. We're always going to be more powerful when it comes to that line of work. But one day, Annie, being the narcissist that she was, crossed a line and she was about to fuck around and find out.
Plot twist.
The next part of this story I like to call swamp talk because you get a different version depending on who you're talking to. So in the first version, it is said that Annie unalived Taku's child. Okay. But the most popular version of this story is that Annie unalived his niece. Annie was never one to have eyes for just one lover. And she actually had her eyes on the plantation's accountant. He was a man of color and his name was Robert Rutherford. But see, the problem is that Robert only had eyes for one woman and it was not Annie. Robert was madly in love with Taku's grand niece. Her name was Millicent. And that was a fucking problem for Annie. Annie was so used to getting what she wanted, she couldn't take no for an answer.
Oh, so she got jealous. She got real jealous.
And in a jealous rage, unalived Taku's niece. And boy, was she about to fuck around and find out.
Definitely.
Because Taku was enraged. It is said that he did his divinations and he decided this is what he needed to do. He asked the ancestors the Most High and his deities for protection. And then he went right into Annie's bedroom like he did every night. He made love to her as he usually did every night. But then he decided this was going to be the last night that I have to come in this motherfucker. So after he made love to her, he placed his hands around her neck and her to death.
Oh.
And then him and the other slaves of the property placed her in an above ground coffin and started the sealing process to keep her spirit inside of that box.
What?
Because even though Taku was stronger than her, she still had been practicing voodoo for a very long time.
Bro.
It was powerful as well. Well, somebody didn't complete the ceremony. They started it and they did not finish it. And now Annie Palmer roams the halls of this plantation, scaring the shit out of everybody. Even back then, the slaves, the people that lived in the house, they had issues with the spirit of Annie Palmer because she is pissed off, even in her death.
Right.
It was so haunted. Everybody had fled the plantation.
This plantation story is starting to get on my nerves because y'all know it's backwards and inside out. But
has a strong
let's get to it.
Sensation of jealousy and a strong sensation of like only, everything has to be hers. She's not gonna let that grudge go. She's gonna wait on the other side to get her revenge. She's gonna wander around the house and try to do, you can tell the type of people who are gonna do and try to do some real haunting. We love the spooky story times and the spiritual reparations. So her first video is actually what I'm going to sample in the video today, specifically the topic. Again, make sure y'all go subscribe to her. Y'all know I love her stories. We got another one that tried to practice dark magic. That boomerang came back real quick. Hold on, let me show you something. If anybody has read this book, Stolen Legacy, this book is basically talking about the mystery schools that they had in Egypt. And it's talking about all of the Greek philosophers that claimed everything as theirs when they learned it. So the Egyptians had this mystery school, and they would teach all the magic, all the sacred knowledge. This was way before all the European kings and queens reign. This was when, there was actual balance and real stuff that's happening, pyramids being built, all types of sacred technology and stuff that was happening, alien visitation, all of that. This was before all of that. So this is giving all of that information in. And some of them, the Greeks, some of the European people who was trying to get this knowledge, they were barely even letting them into these schools and learning this. But when they actually had the opportunity to, they claimed everything as their own. They used it as dark magic and all of this. This is a prime example. Just play it. The last story was a prime example. I'm like, I'm 2/3 through the book.
I'll let Orlando Brown watch my kids before I even think about letting this bitch watch them. Because this fucking lady was responsible for killing over 650 young girls. Yes, she really fucked up the population. She was married at the age of 15, and for a wedding gift, she received a fucking castle. And she also requested for contractors to build a torture chamber beneath the castle. And yes, that shit is still here to this day. And for another gift, she also received a few villages to rule over. This is Elizabeth Bathory, born August the 7th, 1560, and she's also known as the female Dracula. Now they had a total of 5 kids. Elizabeth had the life that every woman dreamed of. She was a beautiful, rich ruler, and she was married with kids. But one day, she began to be filled with rage because all of her riches could not stop her from aging. Yeah, that ass was getting wrinkled, and she could not put up with that shit. She was so unhappy that one day she struck a servant across the head and noticed that the young blood that was on her hand felt refreshing. Immediately, she had the young servant killed and her blood drained in a bathtub. Elizabeth claimed that the blood would make her look young forever. She became obsessed with the virgin's blood because it seemed to be working. Whenever she could, she took
Mind you, they have the adrenochrome clinics. The first one was opened in New York about 4 years ago. Exactly what he's saying now. They literally have a legal clinic that is adrenochrome blood clinic for rejuvenation. Right? Check it out.
to the village to offer young teenage girls a better way of living. She offered them a job, better education, and so on. As months and years go by, parents became concerned because they never seen their child again. And her husband, big goofy ass, even helped with the murders. Bathed in blood. I just know that ass was raw.
Where do you think they're getting this information from? Where do you think they know about the essence and the importance of blood?
In 1610, she was finally arrested for all the crimes she committed.
Yeah, but that boomerang came right back.
But they locked her up in a room full of mirrors so she could spend the rest of her life looking at that old ass face.
Why do he talk like that? That first comment, Bloody Mary for real, that is a real thing. I'm gonna give y'all the backstory. All of this information that they know about blood and magic. Why? If y'all ever watched American Horror Story Coven, you know this scene and you know where it originated.
Exactly who I am and what I'm capable of. Just like I know exactly what you are, witch. I can smell the stink of it on you. Well, I didn't expect you to like me. I mean, after all, your kind and my kind have been going after each other for centuries. Though it is kind of like a hammer going after a nail. Everything you got from us. Teach about the voodoo slave girl who graced us with her black magic. She couldn't tell a love potion from a recipe for chocolate chip cookies if she had to read it. Made her a slave. Before that, she came from a great tribe, the Arawak. She learned the secrets of the other side from a 2,000-year-old line of shamans, necromancy.
Eerie.
She gave it to your girls of Salem. A gift repaid with betrayals.
And that's the real thing. During the Salem.
That's the real thing. The Salem witch trial. I went over it before about a year ago not in depth, but I showed you guys the documentation on the Salem witch trials. So basically, let me show you guys what I'm talking about when it comes to what she was speaking on the blood, right? A controversial startup that charges $8,000 to fill your veins with young blood opens its first clinic. Y'all thought I was just talking about that, huh? It's the truth. Listen, they are literally using blood from children and young people so that they can get rejuvenated in their system. The controversial startup that charges $8,000 to fill your veins with young blood. A startup called Ambrosia Medical. It charges $8,000 to fill your veins with this blood. It opened up in New York City. Founded by Stratford graduate Jesse Carmazin, the company recently completed the first clinical trial designed to assess the benefits of young blood transfusions. Although his team has not yet published the result of the trial, he said that the results were really positive. Y'all see this, right? Where they getting the blood to be doing all this crap? That's what I want to know. Let's get into this story real quick. On the ladies, right? This particular story we're going to talk about is the national roster of the ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic. This right here is kind of crazy, but let's get right into it. Yeah, they demonize the way that they do stuff. Says, ooh, this shit crazy. It's so crazy. All right, guys, we about to get right into this. Let's go.
Ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic. Aims and objects are PHE. Ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic are banded together to teach patriotism and lessons of good citizenship.
To teach what?
To proclaim the idea of one vast sisterhood in the practice of the Golden Rule. To perpetuate the deeds and sacrifices of the Grand Army of the Republic. The organization stands alone in its efforts and purpose. It is not an auxiliary to any other order. It has high achievements and lofty ideals. Its labors in the past have been rewarded by an abundant yield, and that unbroken harmony throughout the entire order and the devotion and loyalty for which it stands, have marked its progress in the past and will assure its continuance in the future. The advancement of this order has been onward and upward, proudly conquering all obstacles in its path and fulfilling grandly its high mission. It is not content with these laurels, it would go forward.
The advancement of this order has been onward and upward, steadily growing, proudly conquering all obstacles in its path and fulfilling grandly its high mission, the mission. It is not content with these laurels. It would go forward for further triumphs under the great banner of the fraternity, charity, and loyalty. Fraternity, charity, and loyalty.
For further triumphs under the great banner of fraternity, charity, and loyalty. The spirit of fraternity, inspired by a desire to minister and to serve, and the human obligations and the sympathies embodied in the teachings of this organization should appeal to all women whose kinship to the Grand Army of the Republic give them eligibility in this order of patriotic women. The teachings of the lessons of good citizenship are far-reaching. Every effort is put forth so that the future citizenship of our country may not be lacking in the one undying purpose: obedience to the laws of our country. One of the great objects of the order, irrespective of creed or religious sentiments, is to promote loyalty to country. Such duties, inculcating the spirit of loyalty and service in the hearts of children, are considered among the highest obligations of life. The ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic give special attention to the public schools, seeing that the children obtain proper education in the history of our country, distributing literature for the observance of patriotic holidays, giving instruction in the teachings of the sacredness of Memorial Day, presenting flags to the schools.
Understand that the Republic giving attention to public schools, seeing that the children obtain proper education, proper indoctrination in the history of the country, in the history. What is Tory? Tory is patriotical information. It is political and patriotical. And it told you right up here the same thing, telling you it was patriotical, right? Oh, sorry, guys. I went down too far. telling you that it's patriarchal, and they're telling you that what they do for the children to obtain what they consider to be proper education in the history of the country, the patriarchal system of indoctrination. They're telling you right here. Listen, here this thing goes. Stopping already.
The teachings of the ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic give special attention to the public schools, seeing that the children obtain proper education in the history of our country, distributing literature for the observance of patriotic holidays, giving instruction in the teachings of the sacredness of Memorial Day, presenting flags to the schools, and instructing the children in the history of the flag and the mighty principles for which it stands. This organization of patriotic women assists the Grand Army of the Republic in its high and holy mission, assists the soldiers' homes, soldiers' widows' homes, and the homes for the veterans and their wives. There are homes in several departments for the veterans and their wives and widows of veterans, supported entirely by the ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic. This order would further the interests of all subordinate circles and institute circles throughout the United States. All wives, sisters, daughters, granddaughters, bloodkin nieces, bloodkin cousins, lineal female descendants, and honorably discharged soldiers, sailors, Marines of the late rebellion, and ex-army nurses of good moral character are eligible to membership in the subordinate circles. Circles may admit to honorary membership of the ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic, all honorably discharged soldiers, sailors, and Marines, and also ex-army nurses, sons, grandsons, and nephews of the veterans of the late rebellion, enjoying all privileges without any initiation fees or dues. For further information in regard to the organization of the ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic, please apply to Ethelyn P. Smith, National President, 3212, Harney Street, Omaha, Nebraska. Lydia Vashals, National Secretary, 308, North Main Street, Fremont, Nebraska. President Ethelyn P. Smith, 3212, Harney Street, Omaha, Nebraska. Senior Vice President Eunice Rash, Thayer, Kansas. Junior Vice President, 308, 20, 1140, Junior Supervisor, 1140.91, Mama Secar, Emily Dubois, Lee Havens Building, Fremont. Carrie R. Patriotic Literature, 4000, Gladys Campbell, Ohio. Geneva Camp, Eula
Just give
Flanagan,
all the names,
New Jersey.
names. I'm going to go through that on another book, but just I'm going to fast forward so you can get to this information.
Lydia Sanford, Pennsylvania. Mark, Cynthia, Eliza Colbert, Texas, Assistant National, Missouri, Florida, died 9. Lakeview, New York, May to November 3rd. Asterisk Nellie, died 588 more. Died 19. Asterisk Italy Toby, 1900 Indiana. Died 1928.
19. Okay, yes, this is the one. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna get to the juice.
12. Pencil. 0.27. 20. Diamond Suit Margaret Age. 209.
The name.
Anita
I want you guys
Road,
to see
Berlin.
some
Diamond
of these
Suit
names
Margaret
too.
Age.
Y'all see some
Stevens
of these names.
Asterisk M.
Fox.
Departments, New Jersey. Formed
Grubb, Bateman, Stevens,
1881.
Strickland, Hartman.
President.
We know what these names
Lydia
are. So let's
Diamond Suit. 2. Mary A. 10. 72.
These are all of the
Betty
people
Raby
that
Box
were listed. Now, some of your families may
493.
be in here.
Kruger 512. Pence 14.
I'm not going to go through this entire
721.
all of the names.
319.
Through
Meadow,
it, so you guys
Isla
can
Mae
see
Armstrong.
Anna Good, Hines.
1320. 4 at 75 30. Asterisk
Get to the
Harriet
next
C.
book real quick.
4060. 1150. Clement Street, Galita.
This has their addresses,
Nellie,
names, everything.
1862.502 2031. Almadale Street,
Everybody
Los
that's
Angeles
form
City.
screen. This is even going back, showing their area, where they were at, where it was formed, so on and so forth.
Michaels, Utah. 901. Asterisk 8.
All of them go through all
Alice,
the states. showing you each
226
one. So
Finley
think
Street,
about
Cincinnati. Margaret
these
Crawford,
people,
Nanny.
right? Being in a particular area, right? When they're in these particular areas, they have all these different people that are doing the same thing. All of these people that are working for the same organization, which is this mission, right? Which is the Women's Republic. The Women's Republic goes back to the what do you call it? The women, the dames of the Confederate. So that's one of the more important items I want you guys to look at real quick. So let me pull that up real quick. Register for, we'll go to Massachusetts. Now, mind you, I just showed you this is in each and every one of the states. They showed you it's in each and every one of the states. Hold on one second. And just to, oh, wait, let me show you this before we go to that, actually. And just to clarify, if you guys can remember, where is it? Because I'm going to get into this Indian information as well. If you guys can remember the emergency reconstruction goal of 1920, y'all just saw when that was. It started like the 1800s, so on and so forth. That showed you exactly who it was. Grand Rising says they showed you exactly who it was, right? Who they were. I didn't show you all of them, but you guys saw I browsed through each state. It had each one of their name, their address, everything where it was started at. On the women's mission, this is 1920, same timeline, right? The organization that the congressional women of these 17 interior states band together in branches, associations, and auxiliaries, a host of women. Listen, pay attention. The women were doing all of this. The great purpose of theirs was to send their master, Jesus Christ, their best friend, their savior, to hopeless women, the whole world around, to hopeless women, going to people destitute, right? How do they do it? They send their daughters from their homes in their beloved land to live among the ignorant people who are black and Kurdish, women who are brown and bond, who are yellow in harems that are done to death, women of Turkey. Now, you hear him saying who these people are. Now, they're calling these people black. You hear him saying these ignorant women who were black, the Purdah women who are brown. So the black, the brown, and the yellow harem women, they were black. How are they black if they are not, if we're black? Wait a minute, how are they saying these Turkish people are black? Make that make sense, but let's keep moving. What do? These daughters? They take the dirty, ragged, sick women, girls, and children and make them well again. They take the women and the children ignorant, beyond our thought and low. They read and write and think from kindergarten on through high school and then college. Then they just say that they put them in school for the indoctrination. Look at who they're speaking of. They're telling you right here, here's the mission. This is their plan, the same timeline. They take the women and the children and they're on their Sabbath day in church and they show them God. They take the women and show them how to make a home where love and peace and joy may dwell. The hospital, the school, and the church. As we know, what happened with the hospital, the school, and the church, they're able to then create a what? A reservation or a plantation, right? A reservation or a plantation. This is what happens. Only 10 people, it says right here. Let's see. Their beloved friends and the leaders of the missionaries reduced in numbers. 2 had died. Others had gone to occupy the furlough. Some too exhausted to make their journey. No new recruits had come. Only 10 missionaries present at this annual meeting on the 19th, when in normal time before the war was 40 or 50 who were assembled. The war was 40 or 50 because why? The war, waging war, what? By taking land. Because why? If they had 40 or 50, they could now get a plot of land and they could create a nation, which would be under the reservation, reserving nations and reserving a new plantation for these new self-ordained chiefs. These chiefs will be ordained because now they have enough people. They have 50 people. This is what the whole plan was. It was a goal for what? The reconstruction, their reconstruction goal. A plan that they would allow them to live 40 years and say that they have never known the year than equal than the past of their own misery, all misery in their life. That's all they knew until coming here. And it resulted from what? It resulted from drought. It resulted from famine, influenza, which carried off millions. The war that took its toll in tens of thousands and resulted in high prices and left the masses with 1 meal a day this year. They had perhaps 2 the previous year. These are all these people that they were going to, right? They were going to these people so that they can get the assistance because they were starving. They were destitute. They didn't have food. They didn't have anything else. So they would come into these lands. They say, hey, you come over here. We'll give you some help. We'll put you in school for education, so on and so forth, right? This is what they were doing. So let's keep it moving. I'm going to get to this other document real quick. Let me get to the right page. This is going to show you, we're going to look at Massachusetts, right? I'm going to show you when it started. And you'll see the same timeline. This is 1909, right? This is a society that of the Dames, right? It's called this. We're going to be looking at is the Register of Massachusetts, Society of the Colonial Dames, the colonial dames of the colony. These are the same women that were going to these countries and getting these so-called black, dead, ignorant women. See, the colonial dames of Massachusetts. Let you get to the juice a bit so you guys can see their roles and memberships, who were married, resigned, transferred certain things over, so on and so forth. All the officers, all these women that were the one, hey, we're going to put this face out here now that we have we've reduced the slavery. Now we're going to put these people into a different light so now they can assume roles and start to take over, and we can do our reconstruction of the slave narrative, because it's about reconstructing the slave narrative, right? Because they have to bring the people in to displace you. They have to start and formulate a land and have these tribes so that they can take over the tribal order, so on and so forth. So this is what they are doing. See? They have all the proof. We never have to wonder what happened or what's going on when we could just see the proof for ourselves. All the proof, all the people, their names, their roles, their memberships, so on and so forth. Who was the person that was actually in charge of the chair? Who did what? So on and so forth. Okay, let me check the chat. Yes, exactly, sis. They were used to do everything, orchestrated everything. And you see, I'm showing you guys, it's the whole complete order. They had all these different systems orchestrated to set up. Remember in the first document that I went over with you guys, that's what they exactly said. They said the system was set up and organized so that they can have all this put in place. And they used these white women to do this. It's so crazy. It's so absurd. They have a whole American creed. It said, let me read the creed to you guys again, real quick. This is what they say. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, but it doesn't stand on republic. That's an actual lie. One nation, individual with liberty and justice for all, but that's not how it's operating, right? So the liberty and justice for the all are the people that they're speaking of. This is their creed, the American creed. I believe in the United States of America. I believe the lie of the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just power are derived from the consent of the governed. They are derived from the consent of the governed. You have to give your consent to be governed. You guys understand that? The powers are derived from the consent of the governed, right? A democracy in the republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states. I keep telling you guys, each state is sovereign. A perfect union, one inseparable and establishing upon these principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots, what did I just tell you about what a patriarch is? The patriots sacrificed their lives and their fortunes. Very interesting, right? Okay, let's get back to this. I want you guys to see these names and see how these people were used against you. Guys, y'all know I told you guys I'm not going to be doing these long extended builds much longer. I'll be doing a little of this. I got some very important stuff we're going to be getting into with my next class, and this is definitely going to be pertinent. So I wanted to get this out the way, make sure that I am tapping in with you guys. But I definitely have to save my breath for things that are more beneficial to people that are receptive to actually growing. So I want to make sure that I am still coming here for people that are interested in hearing the information, so on and so forth. And yes, but you guys can see this is all part of their mission. I just want to show you it's all part of the women's thing. The Society of the Colonial Dames. Society of the Colonial Dames. Look right here, right? All of them, all of them. Everything that they did with setting up these things. A lot of people's family members were under these names because why they have been stolen too. Keep that in mind. A lot of them have been stolen. It has the descendants, and then once they have a descendant, they can go through all the women because it said what the daughters, the granddaughters, the great granddaughters, the nieces, all of the women they used as part of this war tactic. It was a war tactic. It was definitely a war tactic if you don't understand how that is. Grandest brother, it was a war tactic. And they used these women in these missions and these commissions and these societies and all these things. The Daughters of the Revolution. Oh, yeah, let me pull up Daughters of the Revolution as well so I can show you guys. I mean, it's just been so much. It's just crazy. Let me see if I have something in my tab real quick. Daughters of the Revolution. Oh, give me words. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, guys. Hold on, let me pull it back up. I was trying to pull up this other document. Hold on one second. All right, I was trying to pull it up and it just literally closed me all the way out, guys. Hold on a second. Let me pull this back up. I wanted to show you guys Daughters of the Revolution. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, let's see. Where is it? It's not in my list right here, guys. I don't want to take too much time to search for it. I'm going to see. Da-da-da-da. Which one is it? Let's check one more page. Hold on. Okay. Dang. Yeah, that's gonna take too long to pull up, guys. All right, let me move on. I'm gonna close this out. Close this. And get back to this. think one of my pages actually closed on me. That could be a sign to just end it. I said I wanted to keep it short. Just wanted to come in for a quick minute. And oh man, I found it. As soon as I said I was going to be done, I found the other book. So let me show you guys this real quick, just so you can get an understanding of these women being used. Daughters of the Revolution. Hold on a second. Definitely going to show you a little bit of this. A little bit of this. Okay, now let me see. Yes, Daughters of the Revolution. The societies, when you hear about the historical society, they're the ones that created all these societies, guys. The daughters of these people that they put in place so that they can create and organize this reconstruction, even from Christianity, so on and so forth. See, this is the Daughters of the Revolution. Same thing, same story. This was in 1890 to 91, particularly. Same thing. I hate when you do the page like this. I want y'all to listen to this. Pay attention. I'm going to actually let a little of this book read because this is very important proof of everything I just told y'all. I should have started here, but I actually it just popped in my head. It'd be so much information, guys. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but something popped in my mind, so it must have been for me to confirm it with you guys and go through it a little bit. So let's go.
It was a small number of loyal-hearted women that assembled in Washington on the 8th of October 4 years ago.
Okay, sis, I'm muted. That's what I was wondering if you guys can hear it. Hold on.
Her government upright.
I was wondering if you guys can hear it while I'm muted. I'm going to start it over. I'm doing something else, and I just didn't want you guys distracted with the noise, but give me a second because I did have to do something else, but I want you guys to see this. So we're going to start this over. Hold on. Definitely start this over because you got to hear this. It's verifying everything we just was reading and everything I've just told you guys, obviously. But yeah, let's go.
It was a small number of loyal-hearted women that assembled in Washington on the 8th of October 4 years ago. But that sturdy few has been multiplied into thousands, and today, from Maine to California, from the lakes to the Gulf,
into
the
thousands.
Name, Daughters of the American Revolution, is a synonym for love of country, veneration for our national flag, unremitting zeal in teaching the children of our land to love its institutions, respect its laws, and comprehend the duties and obligations of citizenship. From dusty archives and musty manuscripts, they have unfolded to the light the hidden proof of the lives of their forefathers and mothers, and they hold the pages open for us to read what they sacrificed for home and country. Through this knowledge we begin to comprehend the price of the legacy left, and to realize that if we hold this magnificent inheritance in city, town, and country, we must keep the campfires of loyalty alive, that there shall be no wavering of devotion to the principles they planted, her institutions be kept pure, her laws just, her government upright. The daughters of the American Revolution have this work in hand. It will go on, and out from these colonial struggles will come an American manhood that will build a structure for liberty to endure forever. MSI. The organization of the society. V5 IE National Society of the Daughters of the American J_Revolution was organized in the city of Washington, in the parlors of the Strathmore Arms, October 2, 1890, the anniversary of the discovery of America by Columbus. The society was incorporated under the laws of Congress June 8, 1891. The charter membership, numbering 818, closed October 2, 1891. The objects of this society are, I. To perpetuate the memory and the spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence by the acquisition and protection of historical spots and the erection of monuments, by the encouragement of historical research in relation to the Revolution and the publication of its results, by the preservation of documents and relics, and of the records of the individual services of revolutionary soldiers and patriots, and by the promotion of celebrations of all patriotic anniversaries. 2. To carry out the injunction of Washington in his farewell address to the American people. To promote, as an object of primary importance, institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge, thus developing an enlightened public opinion, and affording to young and old such advantages as shall develop in them the largest capacity for performing the duties of American citizens. 3. To cherish, maintain and extend the institutions of American freedom, to foster true patriotism and love of country, and to aid in securing for mankind all the blessings of liberty. Organization of the Society. Eligibility. The sole requisite for eligibility to membership in this patriotic and national society is proven lineal descent from an ancestor who, with unfailing loyalty, rendered material aid to the cause of independence as a recognized patriot, as soldier, or sailor, or as a civil officer in one of the several colonies or states, or of the United Colonies or States, or from the mother of such a patriot, provided that the applicant shall be at least 18 years of age and acceptable to the society. Seal. The seal of the society shall be 1 7/8 of an inch in diameter, charged with the figure of a dame of the Revolutionary time sitting at her spinning wheel,
Look at
with
this.
13 stars above her,
Kind of
the
make you
whole
think
surrounded
about
by a rim
the Statue of
containing.
Liberty, huh? You think why they got the Statue of Liberty? This is part of that founding of the reconstruction, the founding of the women's missions that were helping to reconstruct. You see the stars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stars. 13 stars. Let's go.
The legend, Daughters of the American Revolution, 1776-1890, and the motto, **** home and country. The insignia.
13 colonies.
The insignia of the society shall consist of a badge in the form of a spinning wheel and distaff, to be worn on ceremonial occasions upon a bow of ribbon. The wheel is 7/8 of an inch in diameter and of gold, with 13 spokes and a field of light blue enamel upon its tire
13.
bearing the name of the society in letters of gold. Upon its outer rim, opposite the ends of the spokes, are 13 small stars, which may be set with precious stones at the discretion of the owner. Underneath the wheel is a golden distaff 1 1/2 inches long filled with silver flax. Upon the back of the wheel the registration number of the owner shall be engraved, and her name may be added. The ribbon to be worn with the wheel is dark blue with a white edge ribbed and watered, following the colors of Washington's staff. A rosette of the prescribed ribbon attached to a stick pin may be worn as an informal badge upon ordinary occasions.
A pendant.
In memoriam. Caroline Scott Harrison, first president of the Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Died in Washington October 25, 1892. RJ membership roll. H. L. SAMU High. W. Ajuamero N. If Fuel/if other of. In. If ut 5 EU Minglan. T. Ili IHFLIH Virginia L.TNE of IHE Humalotionati Army. Guljatun Elfuth UFI. T. Fork Chua H. Tyahi Tyke Dofi. NOTK. The number at the end of the name represents the national number of the member of the society. Miss Eugenia Washington. I bomb in West Virginia. Descendant of Colonel Samuel Washington, brother of General George Washington, daughter of William Temple Washington and Margaret Calhoun Fletcher, his wife. Granddaughter of George Steptoe Washington and Icaridosi Payne, his wife. Great-granddaughter of Colonel Samuel Washington and Annie Steptoe, his wife. Samuel Washington was a colonel in the Virginia INE of the Revolutionary Army. Also descendant on her maternal side from Col. Charles François Joseph Count de Fletcher, who was bombed in France in 1755, died in New York in 1815, and who served in the War of the Revolution. Granddaughter of General Thomas Fletcher and Nancy McElhenney, his wife. General Thomas Fletcher served in War of 1812 on the staff of General William Henry Harrison. He was grandson of Colonel Fletcher, who came to Virginia with his friend and maternal kinsman Marquis de Icaret Lafayette, and entered the service as a private. He was soon elected captain of Company H, Independent Washington Guards, reporting to the commander-in-chief. He was ordered to Canada. Great-granddaughter of Samuel Fletcher and Abigail West, his wife. Colonel Fletcher's name was Americanized and spelled Fletcher. Great-great-granddaughter of Charles François Joseph Count de Fletcher, and Ruth Phillips Saurin C., his wife. Colonel Charles François Joseph Count de Fletcher served in the War for Independence as Colonel of Horse, in Canada. Mrs. Sarah Agnes Rice Pryor. 2. Born in Virginia. Wife of Roger A. Pryor. Descendant of Reverend David Rice and Colonel John Odie. Daughter of Samuel Blair Rice and Icara Lucinda Walton Leftwich, his wife. Granddaughter of William Rice, of Greenwood, Charlotte County, Virginia, and Mary Bacon Crenshaw, his wife. Great-granddaughter of David Rice, of Kentucky, and Mary Blair, his wife. David Rice acted in the capacity of clergyman and orator to the Hanover Militia in 1775. He was, in 1792, a member of the convention which framed the first Constitution of the state of Kentucky. Also granddaughter of Reverend William I Garrett Eftwich and Frances Odie, his wife. Great-granddaughter of Colonel John Odie, of Bedford, Virginia, and Mary Hopkins, his wife. Colonel John Odie served as colonel and captain of a battalion of riflemen. Also descendant of Colonel William Leftwich, Chaplain Samuel Blair, and Major General Joel Leftwich.
All right, now that's Massachusetts. I want to show you guys, I just told you guys, this is every state. This is what they did. These are these women assuming these roles. I'm going to show you this one as well, Register of the Colonial Dames of the State of New York. I'll show at least one more because we got still under an hour. Showing this, this is where it was, the place of, in New York that they had. Hold on a second. And I want you to see that, oh, it's probably down here, where it shows that it was incorporated, which shows you that it was the state of, which we read that from the first document. If you're paying attention to understand, I want you guys to see these people have these roles and they're trustees and fiduciaries, and we have to understand their role and what your role is. And if you don't know it, see, certificate of incorporation, certificate of incorporation. Incorporation, the core part of the government construct, putting in the patriotism. See, certificate of incorporation. Let's see what their job was. Check this out.
Certificate of Incorporation of the Colonial Dames of the State of New York. We, the undersigned women, citizens of the United States and of the State of New York, all being of full age, do hereby associate and form ourselves into a society by the name, style, and title of the Colonial Dames of the State of New York / and in order that the said society shall be a body corporate and politic under and in pursuance of the act of the legislature of the State of New York, Chapter 267, passed May 12, 1875, entitled An Act for the Incorporation of Societies or Clubs for Certain Legal Purposes, and of the several acts of the legislature of said state a mandatory thereof, we do hereby certify, first, that the name or title by which the said society shall be known in law, shall be the Colonial Dames of the State of New York.
Oh, the setup is
Second,
so real.
That the particular business and
pure
objects
setup.
of the said society shall be patriotic, historical, literary,
Patriotic,
benevolent, and social, and for the
historical,
purposes of perpetuating the
literature.
memory of those honored men whose sacrifices and labors, in colonial times and until national independence was assured, potentially aided in laying the foundations of a great empire, of collecting and serving the records of their services, and of undertaking or assisting in the erection of proper memorials thereof, of inspiring among the members the patriotic spirit of their forefathers in colonial times, of inculcating in the community in general, sentiments of nationality and patriotism, and respect for law, order, and constituted authority, of promoting social intercourse and friendship among the members, of
Promoting
undertaking or
social
assisting in the proper
intercourse.
commemorative
Listen.
celebration, serving the records of their services, and of undertaking or assisting in the erection of proper memorials thereof, of inspiring among the members the patriotic spirit of their forefathers in colonial times, of inculcating in the community in general, sentiments of nationality and patriotism, and respect for law, order, and constituted authority, of promoting social intercourse and friendship among the members, of undertaking or assisting in the proper commemorative celebration of important events in the history of the colonies, and of other patriotic events of national importance, of affiliating and uniting with other state societies of colonial dames in such manner as may not be inconsistent with law, in order to concert and take such measures, patriotic, historical, literary, benevolent and social, as may conduce to the general intendment of this society, and better accomplish the objects herein before set forth. Third, that the number of managers, trustees, or directors who shall have the control and management of the affairs of said society shall be 6, and the names of the managers for the first year are Eleanor Van Rensselaer Fairfax,
Trustees,
Mary Van
trustees
Wyck
or
Church,
directors. Trustees or
Catherine
directors.
Turnbull Carrot Ruth Lawrence, Maria Dwayne Bleecker Miller, Matilda Oakley Rhinelander. Fourth, that the principal office of said society, the colonial dames of the state of New York, shall be located in the city, county, and state of New York. In witness thereof, we have hereunto and to the duplicate hereof set our hands and seals at the city of New York, the 24th day of April, in the year of our Lord 1893. Signed and sealed in the presence of John G. Davis. Signed, Eleanor Van Rensselaer Fairfax, seal. Mary Van Wyck Church, seal. Catherine E. Turnbull, seal. Ruth Lawrence, seal. Maria Dwayne Bleecker Miller, seal. Matilda Oakley Rhinelander, seal. City and County of New York, SB. State of New York, J. On this 25th day of April, 1893, before me personally appeared, Eleanor Van Rensselaer Fairfax, Mary Van Wyck Church, Catherine E. Turnbull, Ruth Lawrence, Maria Dwayne Bleecker Miller, Matilda Oakley Rhinelander, to me known, and known to me to be the parties described in and who executed the foregoing instrument, and they severally acknowledged that they executed the same. Signed, John G. Davis, seal.jss, A. Wyco State of New York, City and County of New York. I, Henry D.
Clerk
Roy,
of the Supreme
Clerk of the City and
Court.
County of New York, and also Clerk of the Supreme Court for the said city.
Clerk of the Supreme Court for the said city. All of the circus. All of the governmental construct, the state of. Y'all probably don't even understand this. I swear. That's why I just, But yes, if you guys understand that this is setting up the roles for the governors so that they have control over the trust, the trustees now have a responsibility and a role, as I showed you guys before. But I'm going to leave it at that. Peace, love, and bliss to everyone that came through. I kept it right under an hour. I don't think I'm going to go much more into this. The information is obviously not that intriguing. People have left out the few that were here. And I noticed that this is becoming a little stagnant. And the information will be what it is. I apologize if it's not as entertaining as some would like, but I'm trying to show you the proof, the documented proof, so that you have your mindset on what happened. You have the proof, you have the truth, you know what's going on. This shows you the whole plot of everything, how these people use these women to literally take over the land with these missions and all these things. But, peace, love, and bliss to all.